Shalom Aleichem and welcome to chapter 7 as we look at Hebrew nouns. Let's start with the basics. What is a noun? The English word noun comes from the Latin word nomen, which simply means name, a name. And so a noun is a name for a person, a place or thing, or even an idea. A noun is a name for a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. That's a noun. Nomen means name. And in Hebrew, nouns have two grammatical details that they give us. Nouns give us a gender, and nouns give us the number. When you're looking at a noun is going to give you two things that are important, gender and number. Now let's look at the gender. Now when we say gender, in Hebrew, every noun is either masculine or feminine. There are two genders in Hebrew. We have masculine and feminine. So every noun is either going to be masculine or feminine, even if it's not male or female in real life. And so let me explain a bit on that. In Hebrew, every noun has a gender, either masculine or feminine. If we say the word is masculine, it doesn't mean that the object itself is male or female. So masculine or feminine does not mean that the object itself is female or male. It's only a grammatical category that is given to the noun, not the meaning. An example that I can give is the Hebrew word ear, which means city. Ear means city and the word is feminine in Hebrew. But this does not mean that a city is female. This is how language works. So think of it this way. Hebrew assigns gender to words, not the things themselves. So it's just a category that is given to the noun. It's either going to be masculine or feminine. And as you look at gender, you're going to notice that in Hebrew, we don't have neuter. For example, in Greek, we have a gender that is called neuter. Neuter are nouns that don't belong to masculine or feminine. And those are called neuter in Greek. And this is also found in Latin, it's found in German. You do have what is called neuter gender. But in Hebrew, you only have two. You have masculine or feminine. So nouns have gender and number. And when we come to number is simply the property that indicates whether we're talking about one object or more than one object. And if we're talking about one object, number is going to be singular. And if we're talking about more than one object, the number of that word is going to be in the plural. Plural refers to more than one object. And if we're talking about exactly two objects, the number is going to be duo. Duo means two. You have a duosim. Duo means two. And so duo in Hebrew refers to objects that are appearing in pairs. Duo refers to objects appearing in pairs. You have a set of two hands, two ears, two legs. These are going to be in the duo because they're a set of two pairs. So when we say number, we're simply indicating whether we're talking about one object, more than one object, or a pair of objects. And so there are three. We have singular, plural, and duo. This is number in Hebrew. And so in this chapter, we're going to look at nouns and their gender. Nouns and their gender. Let's move on. Let's answer an important question. How do you know the gender of a word in Hebrew? I'm going to give you 5 points to guide you on knowing the gender of a word in Hebrew. When you're looking at a word, how do you know it's masculine or it's feminine? Here are 5 points that are going to guide you. Point number 1. You will tell by the meaning or the natural gender. Let me explain. If a noun refers to a living being that is naturally male or female, the gender will follow the natural sex of that object. An example here I can give is the word av. Av. Av means father. And because you're referring to father, and father refers to a male figure, and so the gender of the word av is going to be masculine. The gender will follow the natural sex of the object. And so, if the gender of a word refers to a naturally male or female figure, the gender is going to follow the natural sex. An example again is em. Em is a word for mother in Hebrew. When you want to say mother, you say em. Av, father, em, mother. And since em refers to a naturally female person, em, the word em, the noun em, is going to be feminine. This applies to words like bat. Bat means daughter, is going to be feminine. And also to words like melech. Melech. Melech means king. This is one of the common words that you're going to find. Melech means king. And king is going to be masculine. Or the word melcha. Melka. Melka means queen, and the word Melka is going to be feminine. So point number 1 on how to tell the gender of a word is by asking yourself, is this word referring to a naturally male or female? If the answer is yes, then the gender is going to follow the natural sex. But then there's point number 2. How do you tell the gender of a word? This is by looking at the form. Let me explain. If a noun does not refer to a person or animal whose gender is naturally male or female, the gender of that noun will be determined by the form or shape. By form, I'm talking about the ending. The ending of that noun is going to tell you whether it's masculine or feminine. For example, if a word is ending with tau or kamets hey, it's mostly going to be a feminine word because tau and kamets hey are key endings of a feminine noun. So point number 2 is by looking at the ending, how the word is ending. If it's ending with tau or it's ending with kamets hey, that noun is going to be feminine because tau and kamets hey are key identities of an ending of a word in the feminine gender. But here's a caution. Not every word ending with a, which is kamets hey, not every word ending with a is going to be feminine, but majority of them are going to be feminine. So that's something to note on point number 2. You're going to follow the form, the ending of the word. Point number 3, we tell the gender by using default gender. Here's what we mean. If a noun doesn't have a clear feminine ending or marker, it's usually going to be masculine by default. Let me say that again. If a noun is not having a feminine marker or meaning, that noun is usually going to be masculine by default. Example words I can give here is the word sefer, sefer. And sefer in Hebrew means book, the word for book. The word for book is naturally not female or male, and in Hebrew it's not ending with tau or kamets hey. And because of this, it's going to be masculine by default. So point number 3, you're going to tell the gender by using default gender. If it's not referring to feminine noun or not having feminine ending, it's going to be masculine by default. Let's come to point number 4. Names of countries or cities are feminine. Names of countries or cities are going to be feminine in Hebrew. For example, you have the word Mitzrayim, which is the Hebrew word for Egypt. And Egypt is going to be feminine in Hebrew because it's a name for a city. Or the word Yerushalayim, Yerushalayim, which means Jerusalem. And because Jerusalem is the name of a city, it's going to be feminine in Hebrew. So names of countries or names of cities are feminine in Hebrew. That is something to note, and it's very important. Point number 5. Body parts that are appearing in pairs are going to be feminine. Body parts appearing in pairs are going to be feminine. Here's why. Hebrew often treats things that work in connection or cooperation as feminine. And in contrast, things that stand alone and act independently are considered to be masculine. I'll say that again. Hebrew often treats things that work in connection or cooperation to be feminine. And on the other side, things that work independently, that stand alone, are considered to be masculine. So the word for eyes, hands, ears, feet, these that work in pairs are going to be feminine in Hebrew. But head, mouth, nose, heart, these single central organs of the body are going to be masculine because they work independently. And so this is just how Hebrew works. So pairs are going to be feminine, single parts are going to be masculine. So these are 5 points that are going to guide you as we look at gender in Hebrew. But remember, these are just guidelines. You're going to see some exceptions to this, but we're going to look at these exceptions later on. But these are 5 important guides on knowing gender of a word in Hebrew. Let's move on. Let's look at how Hebrew plurals work. How plural nouns work in Hebrew. Now, like in English, Hebrew nouns can either be singular or plural in number. Remember, number can be plural or singular, as well as dual. Let's look at singular or plural. Now, in English, a plural form of a word is normally formed by adding s or es to the word. When you want to make a word plural in English, you're going to add s or es to the end of the word. For example, if you have the word car, you add s, it becomes cars. The word box, you're going to add es and becomes boxes. And that leads you to the plural. In Hebrew, nouns are made plural by adding im or ot to the end of a singular noun. By im or ot, this is what I mean. The usual ending of the masculine plural is im. That is hirek yod mem, im. For example, you have the word melech. Melech means king. Melech means king in Hebrew. And if you want to say kings, in English you're going to add s and becomes kings. But in Hebrew you're going to add im to the word melech and becomes melachim. Melachim. And melachim is going to be kings in Hebrew. Why? Because of that im, the suffix im that is added at the end of the word. And sometimes you're going to have vowel changes when you pluralize a word, but we're going to look at these changes later on. But most importantly for now, when you want to make a masculine noun plural in Hebrew, you're going to add im to the end of the word. For example, melech becomes melachim. King becomes kings. And if you want to pluralize a feminine noun, you're going to add the ending ot. The ending ot. For example, you have the word Torah. Torah. Torah means law. Torah means law. And if you want to pluralize the word Torah, you're going to add ot to the end of the word, and it's going to become Torot. Torot. Torah means law. Torot becomes laws. And if you're translating it, you see Torot, you're going to translate it as laws, coming from the word Torah. Torah means law. Torot means laws. So in Hebrew, masculine singular nouns add im to make plural, and feminine singular nouns add ot to make plural. Now let's come down here. And here you have the words, the Hebrew words, or the Hebrew nouns, and down here you have endings that they add. They are key endings. For example, the word melech is a masculine singular noun. And on the other side, you have the word Mauka. Mauka. And Mauka means queen. Melech means king. Mauka means queen. Both of these are singular nouns. To make melech a plural, you're going to add im, as we said, and it's going to become melachim. That means kings. And to make Mauka, which is a feminine singular noun, remember we said that a ending, when a word is ending with a, is telling you that the word is feminine. So this a ending is feminine singular ending. So Mauka means queen and is feminine. To make it plural, it's going to be melakot. Melakot. That ot ending is telling you that it's in the plural. It's in the feminine plural. And that is going to be queens. Mauka means queen. Melakot means queens. What am I trying to point out here? I'm trying to say, number one, masculine singular nouns have no ending. Masculine singular nouns have no ending. When you're looking at the masculine singular noun, it's not going to have an ending, a special ending, telling you that this word is masculine singular noun. But on the other side, a feminine singular noun has a special ending, and that ending is a. When a word is ending with a, or sometimes tau, that word is going to be feminine singular noun. So masculine singular nouns have no special ending, but feminine singular nouns have a special ending, and that ending is a. But in the plural, both of them have special endings. For example, masculine plural ending is going to be im, and the feminine plural ending is going to be ot. These are special endings that you need to know and master. But as we look at more examples, you're going to understand. Now let me just point out something that is important again, and that is called lexicoform. A lexicoform of a word is a spelling of the word as it appears in the dictionary. When you're learning words on the vocabulary, those words are called lexicoforms. So a lexicoform of a word is a spelling of a word in its original form, or is a spelling of a word before you start adding endings. Those are called lexicoform. For example, the lexicoform of melachim, melachim means kings. The lexicoform of melachim is melech. And the lexical form of melakot is mauka. We're going to use this term very often. So lexical form refers to the spelling of a word as it appears on the vocabulary, on the dictionary. That form is called lexical form. And what is important for you to notice is that the lexical form of a word is its singular form. How it appears in the singular is the lexical form of a word, not the plural. The singular form of a word, whether masculine or feminine, is the lexical form of a word. So in this case, melek and mauka, these are lexical forms of these words. So lexical form of a word is always in the singular spelling, singular form, not the plural. Now what I want you to know from this is, know the endings of words when they take the plural. What ending do you add to the masculine singular and what ending do you add to the feminine singular? Know how plurals are formed. That is very important. No endings for the masculine and no endings for the feminine. This is what I want you to know. Because the ending of a word is going to give you two things that are important. It's going to tell you the gender of a word. As you look at, for example, as you look at the word mauka, mauka means queen. That ending, that a ending, is going to give you two things. Number one, it's going to tell you the gender of a word, and it's going to tell you that the word you're looking at is feminine because of the a ending. And number two, it's going to give you the number of a word. It's going to tell you that the word you're looking at is singular. It's not queens, but it's queen. Because that ending is a singular form, or the singular ending. So knowing the endings of words is very important. So know the endings for the masculine and know the endings for the feminine. The singular and the plural. Now, as I said, the more we look at more examples, the more this becomes clear to you. So let's look at more examples. Let's start with the masculine and feminine singulars. Now, something that stands out and is clear to see is this. In the singular, masculine nouns have no special ending, but feminine nouns have a special ending. You can see the a ending in the feminine nouns, but for masculine nouns, they have no special ending. And that is very important to know. Masculine nouns have no special ending, but feminine singular nouns have a special ending. Let's look at these examples. Under the masculine, we have the word melek. Melek means king. On the feminine, we have the word mauka. Mauka means queen. Now, in most cases, feminine nouns are formed from the masculine nouns. For example, you have the word melek. And in the feminine, you have the word mauka. Mauka. With just some few vowel changes, mauka is going to be formed from the word melek. So this is something worth noting, that most feminine nouns are formed from masculine nouns. So in the masculine, you have melek. In the feminine, you have mauka. Mauka means queen. Melek means king. Under you have the word navi. Navi. Navi means prophet. On the feminine, you have the word navi'ah. Navi'ah. And navi'ah means prophetess. Masculine, you have the word na'ar. Na'ar. That means youth. It means lad. On the feminine, you have the word na'ara. Na'ara. And that means maiden. Masculine, you have the word sus. It means horse. Feminine, you have the word susa, which means mare. So you can see that the feminine is formed by simply changing some few vowels on the masculine nouns. And most importantly, by adding the a ending, because a ending is a feminine signal that the word you're looking at is a feminine noun. So that is very important. Let's move on. Let's begin by looking at masculine nouns and their endings. And remember that the masculine singular forms have no special identifying ending. And so let's look at the examples. You have the word sus. Sus means horse. When you make it plural, it becomes susim. Why? Because you say the im ending is a sign of a masculine plural noun. When you want to pluralize a masculine noun, you add im ending, and becomes susim, which means horses. In English, you add s. In Hebrew, a masculine singular noun you add im and becomes susim, for example, to make horses. You have the word shir, shir, and it means song. To make it plural, you're going to add im and becomes shirim, and becomes songs. You have the word davar, davar. It means word. Davar means word or thing. If you want to say words, you're going to say davarim, davarim, and becomes words or things. You have the word sefer, sefer. It means book. If you want to say books, you're going to say sefarim. So that im tells you it's plural, and so it's going to be books. You have the word melek. Melek means king. To make it plural, it's going to be melakim. And melachim means kings. You have the word ish. Ish means man. In the plural, it's going to be anashim. Anashim. That means men. Again, you're going to see that some words are going to change their form when they go into the plural. You're going to look at this, how words change their form when they pluralize. But for now, focus on the endings and how a word is pluralized. So ish means man, plural it becomes anashim, men. Am is a Hebrew word for people. If you want to say many people, you're going to say amim, amim, many people. This is how words pluralize in masculine. Let's look at the feminine gender. You have these examples. Remember we said feminine gender in the singular, you have a special ending, you have the a ending, and in the plural you have a special ending, and that ending is ot. So the first example there you have the word susa, susa, which means mare. If you want to refer to many of them, you're going to say susot, susot, and that means mares. Torah means law. If you want to say many laws, you're going to say torot, means laws. Mitzvah means commandment. Mitzvah, commandment. If you want to say many commandments or commandments, you're going to say mitzot, mitzot. Ruach means spirit. Ruach, spirit. If you want to say spirit, you're going to say ruchot, ruchot. Em means mother. If you want to say mothers, you're going to say amot, amot, and that will mean mothers. Bat means daughter. If you want to say many daughters or daughters, you're going to say banot, banot. Now when you come to the singular, notice that there are some words, for example, ruach, em, and bat. These words are not having the a ending, and these are what we call irregular nouns. Because we have some nouns in the feminine singular, instead of having a ending, which is a key of a feminine singular noun, they appear without the a ending, and these are called irregular nouns. You just have to know that some nouns are not going to have the a ending even though they are feminine singular, but when they pluralize, they're going to take the plural key ending, ot. We're going to look at these changes that happen to nouns when they pluralize, but for now, focus on how feminine nouns are going to be pluralized. And so that's very important to know. Let's move on. Let's look at the duo. So far I've looked at the singular and plural nouns for masculine and feminine nouns. But then we said there's a third category of number that is called duo. There's singular, there's plural, and there's something called duo, those referring to nouns that are appearing in pairs. For example, ears, eyes, hands, these that appear in pairs are going to be in the duo. When you talk about number for them, they're going to be in the duo. Let's look at how they take their plurals, or how they form their plurals. Now the duo looks similar to the masculine plural nouns. We said in the masculine, the ending for the plural is im, but for the duo, the ending is ayim. I want to repeat that. You're going to see some similarities in the duo and the masculine plural. Masculine plural has im ending, but the duo has ayim. Ayim. Instead of im, it has ayim. Again, you're going to see some vowel changes, but we're going to look at these vowel changes later on. Our focus for now is on how nouns pluralize or form their plurals. Let's go through the examples. First one, you have the word yad. Yad means hand. The Hebrew word for hand is yad. Now, when you want to say hands or a pair of hands, when you want to form the plural for hand, to say hands, you're going to say yadayim. You're going to add the ayim ending. That suffix ayim that you're adding to the word is a sign of a duo. Yad means hand. Yadayim means hands. Another example is the word ozen. Ozen. Ozen means ear. If you want to say ears, you're going to say aznaim. Aznaim. Again, there will be that form change. But most importantly, you're going to take the ayim and add to the word ozen. It is going to be aznaim. And that means ears. Another example is the word ayin. Ayin means eye. Ayin means eye. If you want to pluralize it, it's going to be einayim. Einayim. And that's going to be eyes. Regel means foot. If you want to say many, you're going to say raglaim. Raglaim. And it's going to be feet. Foot, regel, raglaim, feet. Kanaf. Kanaf means wing. Kenafayim means a pair of wings or wings. Safa means lip. Safa. If you want to say many or many lips, it's going to be sefatayim. Sefatayim. That's going to be a pair of lips. Sefatayim. So the ending for the duo is patach, yod, hirek, mem. Patach, yod, hirek, mem. Ayim. That's important to know. Here's a summary of what we looked at. We said every word in Hebrew belongs either to masculine or feminine. There are two genders in Hebrew. You have feminine or masculine. And there are three categories of number in Hebrew. You have singular, plural, or duo. So when you're looking at a noun, it's going to tell you two things. It's going to tell you the gender of the word and the number of the word. For example, when you look at sus, sus is going to be masculine because it's not having a special ending. Nouns that have no special ending are going to be masculine because feminine nouns in the singular have a special ending, and that ending is a. So sus is masculine and is singular. Number is singular, the gender is masculine. And then you have the word Torah. Because of that ending, a ending, the a ending is telling you two things. That the gender is feminine and the number is singular. The a ending is a singular ending in the feminine gender. So Torah is a feminine gender noun and is singular. Torah means law. Susim is plural. The gender is masculine and the number is plural. Torot, the gender is feminine and the number is plural. Why? Because the ending ot is the ending for the feminine. So instead of saying law, you're going to say laws. That ot is a plural ending. Sosayim is a masculine noun, but the number is duo. Remember the ayim is a sign of a duo noun. So the translation is going to be a pair of horses. Instead of one horse, here we're going to talk about a pair of horses. Toratayim is a feminine noun, but the number is duo. Why? Because of that ayim. That ayim is a duo ending. So the translation is going to be a pair of laws or two laws. A pair of laws or two laws. Toratayim. So this is what we looked at. Hebrew has two genders, masculine and feminine. And there are three categories of number. You have the singular, one item or one object. You have plural, more than one object. And you have duo, meaning a pair of things. Also remember we said the lexical form of a word is a word in its singular form. So the lexical form of these words here, for example, it's going to be sus for sosim, and it's going to be Torah for Torot. Let's move on. Now we said that some nouns are called irregular because we saw that some Hebrew nouns do not follow the standard pattern when forming their plurals. And these we said are called irregular nouns. Those that do not follow the normal pattern when forming their plural. Those are called irregular nouns. And in English, we also have irregular forms. The normal way to make a plural in English is by adding s at the end of the word. But some words in English do not follow this pattern. For example, the plural of foot is going to be feet. Instead of it being foots, it's going to be feet. Or the plural of the word child, instead of it being childs, it's going to be children. Or the plural of man, instead of it being mans, it's going to be men. So English also has irregular nouns, irregular plurals. And this applies also to Hebrew. In Hebrew, we also have irregular plurals. So in the case for these irregular Hebrew nouns, you just have to memorize the forms. Just like in English, by practicing and learning, you're going to know them. Let's look at some of these irregulars. Now, there are 4 categories of irregular nouns. We're going to go through them. Let's start with the first one. The first group of irregular nouns is this. These are masculine nouns with feminine ending. These are masculine nouns. They're in the masculine gender, but they're having feminine endings. For example, you have the word Av. Av means father. Av is a masculine noun. But when you pluralize it, it's going to be avot. Avot. Instead of it being avim, because im is a masculine plural ending, it's going to be avot, taking a feminine plural ending. Remember, ot is a feminine plural ending. Since av is a masculine noun, it's supposed to be avim, but when it becomes a plural noun, it's going to be avot, meaning fathers. So this is an example of an irregular noun. Av means father. Avot means fathers. Another one is Shem. Shem means name. In the plural, it's going to be Shemot. Shem is a masculine noun, but in the plural, it's going to be Shemot. Instead of it being Shemim, taking im ending, it's going to be Shemot. And Shemot means names. Shem means name. Shemot means names. And again, this one is an irregular noun. Why? Because though it's a masculine noun, it's taking feminine endings in the plural. So when you see avot, know that the gender is masculine, even though it's having ot, which is a feminine ending. It's irregular, it's abnormal. So if I ask, what is the gender of the word avot? The gender is masculine. It's abnormal because it's taking feminine endings. So this is case number 1. Case number 2 refers to nouns that are feminine but are taking masculine endings in the plural. It's the opposite of case number 1. For example, the word ear. Ear means city. In the plural, it's going to be arim. Ear is a feminine noun. It was supposed to be arot because ot is a feminine ending, but it's going to be arim, meaning cities. Why is that? It's irregular, it's abnormal. You just have to know that ear becomes arim in the plural. Ear, feminine noun, is going to take masculine ending, arim, which means cities. Another example is the word isha. Isha means woman. If you want to say women, it becomes nashim. Nashim. What has happened? Instead of it being nashot, it has become nashim. Nashim, meaning women. And this is an irregular noun. Instead of taking feminine endings, it's taking masculine endings. So category number 1 are masculine nouns that take feminine endings. Category number 2 of irregular nouns are those nouns that are feminine nouns, but when they pluralize, they take masculine endings. Let's move on. Case number 3. Case number 3 are nouns that go through internal vowel changes, and this is called ablot. Some words change their internal vowels. Some words in Hebrew change their internal vowels. Instead of not only adding the ending for the plural, they're going to change their internal vowels. Think of it like the English word man. Instead of adding s to become mans, becomes men. Man goes to men. This is how some Hebrew words also behave. They have internal vowel changes. Let me give you some examples. For example, the word ish. Ish means man. In the plural, it's going to be anashim. Anashim. Yes, it's going to be anashim, and you're shocked. It's going to be anashim. More like the word man becomes men. Instead of mans, becomes men. And since we're used to the English, we are not even surprised by this. But when you're learning a new language, you're shocked. But the more you practice, the more you know these changes. So ish, instead of it being ishim, because ish is masculine, it means man, it's going to become anashim. So when you see the word anashim, know that it's a plural form for man. Ish, anashim. Man, men. This is called ablot. Internal vowel changes. The spelling pattern is going to change. Another example is the word isha. Isha, ish means man, isha means woman. Now isha, to pluralize it, is going to become nashim. Anashim, men, nashim, women. Anashim, men, nashim, women. Again, you have internal vowel changes. Isha means woman, nashim becomes women. Another example, bayit. Bayit means house. When you want to say houses, becomes batim. Instead of having bayitim, becomes batim. And batim means houses. When you see batim, know that we're talking about house, but the plural form, so houses. Again, these, you just have to know them. Case number 4, D. Case number 4 says that some words are always duo in form, but not in meaning. Some words in Hebrew are going to have the duo ending, but the meaning is not going to be duo. Now, duo means two things, a pair of two. But when you translate them, they are not actually duo. The meaning is not actually duo. For example, the word shamayim. Shamayim means heavens. It was supposed to be two heavens because duo means a pair of two things. Two eyes, two ears, two legs, a pair of two. But shamayim is not two heavens. Shamayim is translated as heavens. It's not going to be God created the two heavens. No, it's God created the heavens and the earth. Because this word shamayim is irregular. It's having duo form, duo ending, but the meaning is not duo. Another one is the word mayim. Mayim. Mayim means water. Mayim means water. It's not going to be two waters, though it's having duo ending, it's going to be water. Why? Because mayim is irregular. Mayim is irregular. So these are some of the irregular nouns you're going to meet in Hebrew. You just have to know them, and the more you practice, the more you see them, the more you know them. Now let's look at Hebrew rules on how plurals are formed. Let's look at Hebrew noun pluralization rules. This is important because remember we said that when endings are added to Hebrew nouns, you're going to have vowel changes and spelling changes. So we want to look at some of the common changes that happen when nouns are pluralized. We're going to go through 4 cases or 4 rules that guide us on the vowel changes that happen when nouns form their plurals. Let's look at case number 1. Case number 1 refers to those nouns that have no vowel change. So this is a group of nouns that do not change internally. Their spelling does not change when plural endings are added to them. So case number 1 refers to nouns that have no vowel change, no spelling change. The word stays the same and you simply add the plural endings. If it's masculine, you add im, and if it's feminine, you're going to add ot. So the rule says that often these nouns are monosyllabic nouns or have a reduced first syllable. These nouns that do not change their spelling are either going to be monosyllabic or they're going to have a reduced first syllable. Now, what do we mean by monosyllabic? Mono is coming from the Greek word monos, and monos means one. So monosyllabic are nouns that have one syllable. So if a noun is monosyllabic or it has a reduced first syllable, it's not going to have a vowel change, or the spelling is not going to change when you add the plural endings. Now you may be asking, what is a reduced first syllable? Reduced syllable means that the first syllable of the word is using a short or reduced vowel. And often these are going to be hatef vowels. You're going to see hatef patach, hatef segor, or hatef kametz. These are called reduced syllables because they're short vowels. Let's look at the examples. You have the word shir. Shir means song, a song. When you want to say songs in Hebrew, you say shirim. You say shirim, and shirim means songs. And you can see this is monosyllabic. It has one syllable. This is a one syllable word, shir. In the plural, it becomes shirim. Another example of a monosyllabic word is ot. Ot means sign, a sign. If you want to say signs, you say otot, otot. You can see the spelling pattern is still the same because this is a monosyllabic word. You just add the ending, the plural ending. It becomes otot. And otot means signs. Last example, you have the word chalom. Chalom. Chalom means dream. If you want to say dreams, it becomes chalomot. Chalomot. So case number one, some Hebrew nouns are not going to change their spelling. And these are monosyllabic nouns, or they're going to have a reduced first syllable. For example, this last one, halom, is having hatef patag under, and because of that, it's not going to change its spelling when it becomes a plural noun. Let's look at case number two. Case number two are those nouns that are going to undergo what we call propritonic reduction. Some nouns are going to go through propritonic reduction. These are nouns that have a kametz or a serif vowel under the first syllable. They're going to undergo what we call propritonic reduction. Now, if you remember when we looked at syllabification, we said we can syllabify a word, which means to divide the word so that we can read it properly. And so, if we were to syllabify this word, we're going to cut here and here, and so we're going to have these three pieces or three parts. And these three parts, each part is what we call a syllable. And you may be wondering why the first part is forming a syllable even though it's having a shua, because we say that a shua cannot form a syllable. But because there was a kametz under, that's why it's forming its syllable. But that's not the point. The point is this. After you have syllabified the word, after you have divided the word, it's going to have three syllables. And under syllabification, we said that each syllable has a special name. These syllables that you have formed have their special names. For example, from the last one to the first one, this last one is called tonic syllable. This is called the tonic syllable. It's called tonic syllable because it's a syllable that is receiving the accent, the emphasis. When you're pronouncing, you say devarim, devarim. That's why you put the emphasis in pronunciation. So it's called tonic syllable. And the next one to the tonic syllable is called pretonic syllable. It's called pretonic syllable because it's next to the tonic syllable. And this first one is called propretonic syllable because it's next to the pretonic syllable. So these three syllables have the special names: tonic syllable, pretonic syllable, propretonic syllable. Now, here's the point. When plural endings are added, some nouns undergo what we call propretonic reduction. Reduction means something is reducing. So here you have a kametz. Because of the im that is added, because of the plural ending that is added, im, this propretonic syllable will undergo a reduction, meaning that the kametz will be reduced to a shua. So propretonic reduction is when the first syllable is reduced to a shua. Most of the time it's going to be a kametz or a sereh. The sereh or kametz under the first syllable, the one that is called propretonic, will undergo a reduction from kametz or sereh to a shua. So some nouns are going to undergo propretonic reduction. The kametz will reduce to a shua. The sereh will reduce to a shua. So you have the word davar. In this example, you have the word davar. And davar means word or it means thing. To make it words, to pluralize it, is going to be devarim. Devarim. The change that has happened is that the kametz has reduced to a shua because the word has undergone propritonic reduction. So this is how some words are going to be pluralized. Those having a kametz or sere under the first syllable. Let's look at more examples on case number 2. And of an example there, you have the word levav. Levav means heart. Levav is a Hebrew word for heart. If you want to say hearts, you're going to say levavot. Levavot. Levav is singular. Levavot is plural. What has happened? The sere has been reduced to a shua. It has undergone propritonic reduction. Again, you have the last one there. Anan means cloud. Anan means cloud. If you want to say clouds, it's going to be ananim. Ananim. Ananim means clouds. Now, what has happened? The ayin has taken hatef patach. Why? Because ayin is a guttural. If you remember gutturals, there are 3 important rules on gutturals. One of the rules says that gutturals prefer compound shuas. They never accept a simple shua. And most of the times they'll take hatef patach. So instead of you having a simple shua, this ayin is going to take hatef patach. But the rule is still the same. It was supposed to take shua, but instead of taking shua, it has taken hatef patach. And that is ananim, meaning clouds. Anan, cloud. Ananim means clouds. This is case number 2. Let's look at case number 3. Case number 3 is where you have segolate nouns. Segolate nouns. Now, what are segolate nouns? For the purpose of learning, segolate nouns are nouns that have 2 syllables that are accented on the first syllable. Segolate nouns are nouns that have 2 syllables but accented on the first syllable. But for the sake of understanding, let me define segolate nouns in this way. The simple definition is this. Segolate nouns are nouns that have 2 segols on the first and second consonant. Segolate nouns are nouns that have 2 segols on the first and second consonant. For example, melek. Melek has sego under and the next consonant has sego. That's why they're called segolate nouns. They are starting with 2 segols on the first and second consonant. And sometimes it's going to be sere and sego. Sometimes it's going to be sego and sego. But these are called segolate nouns. What do we mean by they are accented on the first syllable? When you're pronouncing a word that has 2 segos, sego, sego, you don't pronounce it as melek. You don't emphasize the last part of the word. You emphasize the first part of the word. So instead of saying melek, you say melek. Why? Because in Hebrew, most of the times we emphasize the last part of the word. But if a noun is a segolate noun, you always emphasize the first part of the word. Now let's come to case number 3. We're saying segolate nouns form their plural by undergoing propritonic reduction and lengthening the second syllable. So segolate nouns also undergo propritonic reduction, but on top of that, they lengthen the second syllable. So the second syllable is going to lengthen from a sego, which is a short vowel, it's going to go into a kametz. For example, we have the word melek. Melek means king. If you want to say kings, it's going to be melachim. Melachim. What has happened? First of all, the word melachim or melek has undergone propritonic reduction. The first syllable has reduced from sego to shua. Number 2, the second syllable, its vowel has been lengthened from sego to kametz. So you have melachim. Instead of you having melechim, you have melachim, which means kings. So there are 2 things to remember on segolate nouns. When they form their plurals, number 1, they're going to undergo propritonic reduction, meaning the first syllable will take a shua. Number 2, the second syllable will lengthen. Instead of taking sego, it will take kametz. Let's move on to the last one, the case number 4. Case number 4 is affecting geminate nouns. Now, you may be wondering, what is a geminate noun? A geminate noun is a biconsonantal noun. Biconsonantal means it has only 2 consonants. Bi means 2. It has only 2 consonants. In the singular, it's a word that is only having 2 consonants. For example, you have the word am, which means people. Am means people. And the word am is a biconsonantal noun because it's having two consonants. It's only having a yin and mem. A geminate noun is a word that is formed from two consonants. Now, how do they form their plural? Here's the most important thing. When a noun has two consonants in the singular, geminate nouns, when they form their plural, you're going to add a dagesh forte, a dagesh, in the second consonant. You're going to normally add the plural endings, but the second consonant is going to take a dagesh forte. These are geminate nouns. Let's look at the example. You have the word am, which means people. And if you want to refer to a large group or many people, you're going to say amim. Amim. What has happened? Only thing we have done is that we have added dagesh forte in the letter mem, in the second consonant. So am becomes amim, meaning peoples. These are geminate nouns. When they form their plurals, you're going to add a dagesh forte. You're going to see dagesh forte in the second consonant. So from what we've covered so far, let's try these examples. Let's try to identify the gender and number of the word and then give a short why. Let's go through the examples together. Alright, on the first one we have the word yeled. Again, that's a segolate noun. It has two segols under. So you're not going to emphasize the last part. You're not going to say yeled. You're going to say yeled. Yeled. And yeled means boy. The gender is masculine and the number is singular. Why? Because the word yeled has no ending. It has no special ending. Most of the times, nouns that do not have a special ending are masculine and they're masculine singular. So the gender is masculine and the number is singular. The word means boy. Now sometimes when you know the translation, when you know the meaning of the word, you can tell the number. So if you knew that the word yeled means boy, you would know that the word is singular and the word is masculine because yeled means boy and boy refers to a naturally male person. And so the gender would be masculine. So the gender is masculine and the number is singular. And this is the lexical form. This is how you find it on the vocabulary. Remember, lexical forms are the spelling patterns of a word in their singular form as they appear on the vocabulary. Word number 2, we have yauda. We have the word yauda. Yauda is feminine singular. Gender is feminine and the number is singular. Yauda is feminine. The gender is feminine. Why? Because of the ending. The a ending tells us that the word we're looking at is a feminine word. And because of the a ending, expect it to be feminine singular. Yauda means girl. Yeled means boy. Yauda means girl. And this is its lexical form. This is how you see it on the vocabulary. Word number 3, you have the word sus. And because sus has no ending, this is a masculine singular noun. And sus means horse. And this is the lexical form. Word number 4, we have the word susa. Susa. Because of that a ending, this is a feminine singular noun. And susa means mare. And this is its lexical form. Word number 5, we have the word mishmoret. When we're beginning, we say that most of the times words that are ending with tau are feminine. And so this word is feminine singular. Mishmoret means obligation. And this is its lexical form. Word number 6, we have the word mishamarot. Mishamarot. Mishamarot, because of that ot ending, is a feminine plural word. It means obligations. Word number 7 is melek. Melek. And this word is masculine singular. It's masculine singular. Why? Because it's not having a special ending. And melek means king. No ending, so expect it to be masculine singular. And this is its lexical form. Word number 8, we have melakim. Melakim means kings. And because of that im ending, this is masculine plural. Masculine plural. The lexical form of this word is melek. Melek. Word number 9, we have the word mauka. Mauka. Mauka is a feminine singular word. Mauka is a feminine singular word. Why? Because of that a ending. A ending means the word is feminine singular. Ot ending means the word is feminine plural. Im ending means the word is masculine plural. No ending means the word is masculine singular. So Malka is feminine singular. Malka means queen. And this is its lexical form. Word number 10, the last word, we have the word melachot. Melachot. Melachot is feminine plural. Why is it feminine plural? Because of the ot ending. Ot means feminine plural. And the word means queens. The lexical form of this word is malcha. Malcha, meaning queen. From what I've looked at, here's an exercise for you. Here's something to do for you. There are 10 words on the screen. Identify the gender, number, and try to explain why. You can pause the video and then unpause to compare the answers. So here are the answers. On the first word, we have the word avadim. Avadim. Avadim is a masculine plural word. Why? Because of that im ending. Remember, im is masculine plural. It comes from the word eved. Eved means servant. So avadim is servants. Word number 2, we have yamim. Yamim. Yamim is masculine plural. Why? Because of the im ending. Masculine plural. Lexical form is yom. It comes from the word yom. Yom means day. So yamim means days. Word number 3, we have the word Torah. And the word Torah is feminine singular because of the a ending. And it means law. Word number 4, we have the word Torot. And the word Torot is feminine plural. Means feminine plural. The word Torah means law. The word Torot means laws. Because of that ot ending, expect it to be feminine plural. The lexical form of Torot is Torah. Word number 5, we have the word aratzot. Aratzot. The word aratzot is feminine plural. It's feminine plural. Comes from the word eretz. Eretz. Now, maybe wondering, why is that hatef patach? The aleph, instead of it taking shua, it has taken hatef patach. Same as word number 1. These two words in the plural, they were supposed to take shua. But they're going to take hatef patach because they are gutturals. So, word number 5, we have the word aratzot. From the word eretz. Eretz means land or earth. So, aratzot is going to mean lands. It's going to mean lands. And that is a feminine plural word. Word number 6, we have the word ear. Ear. And this word is a feminine singular word. Now you may be wondering, why is that feminine singular? Meanwhile, it's not having the ending. Again, this is an irregular noun. Ear means city. And the word city is feminine. It means city is feminine. So most of the times, the only way to know the gender is by memorizing the gender when you're knowing the vocabulary. Some of the words are going to have feminine or masculine indication. When you're knowing the vocabulary, you can take use of that and know the genders of the word. Word number 7, you have the word arim. And by looking at that im, you're almost saying this is masculine plural. But this word is not masculine plural, it's feminine plural. You'll be wondering, why is that feminine plural? Because the word arim is coming from the word ear, is a plural form of the word ear. Ear means city. Arim means cities. So again, this is irregular. If you remember on the irregulars, we looked at this one. Instead of this taking feminine plural ending, ot, it's going to take masculine plural ending, im, even though it's feminine. So the word arim means cities, and this word is feminine plural. It's an irregular form. Word number 8, you have the word nevi'im. Nevi'im is a masculine plural noun. Again, nevi'im is a masculine plural noun. Comes from the word navi, which means prophet. So nevi'im is prophets. Word number 9, we have the word bat. The word bat. Most of the words ending with tau are feminine. So bat is feminine singular. And the word bat means daughter. The word bat means daughter. So even though you didn't know the ending, by just knowing the meaning of the noun, you would know that bat means daughter, because daughter refers to a female person. Word number 10, the last word, we have the word banot. Banot. Banot is a feminine plural noun. Why? Because of that ot ending. It's a plural form of the word bat. Bat means daughter, banot means daughters. So what I want you to do is to learn how to pluralize nouns, how plurals are formed in Hebrew. Know the singular and know the plural. Let's look at chapter 7 vocabulary. Let's look at words that you need to know for chapter 7. Let's start with the nouns. First one, you have the word chokhmah. Chokhmah. It's not hachma, it's chokhmah. Why is that? Because when we're looking at the vowels, we looked at this vowel that looks like kametz, and we say that this vowel can either be kametz, meaning A-class vowel, or it can be kametz atuf, producing the O sound. When we looked at the accents, we said that this vowel is going to be kametz atuf. It's going to have the O sound if it's found in a closed, unaccented syllable. So how you pronounce this is going to be chokhmah. Now, remember I said these are very rare to find, so don't worry about them. But just know that closed and accented, if it's in a closed syllable and no accent on top or under, it's going to be pronounced with O sound. So it's going to be chokhmah. And that word means wisdom. It means wisdom. Second word is kohen. Kohen. Kohen means priest. Next word of the word kochav. 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 And that word means star. Next of the word lev. Now there are two forms here. It's lev or levav. Both of these mean heart. Sometimes you're going to see it as lev, sometimes it's going to be levav. Both of these mean heart. Next we have the word laila. Laila. And laila means night. Remember we said when you want to say good night, you say laila tov. Laila tov. So laila means night. Next we have the word midbar. 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 Midbar means wilderness. This is an interesting word because this is where you get our English title for the book of Numbers. In our English Bible, you have the book of Numbers. Now, the book of Numbers in the Hebrew Bible, the book of Numbers has a title, Bamidbar. Bamidbar, which literally means in the wilderness. In the wilderness. And so our English title is coming from the Greek word arithmoi. Arithmoi simply means counting or numbering. But in the Hebrew, it's Bamidbar. Ba means in the. Midbar, wilderness. So, Bamidbar, in the wilderness, the book of Numbers. Next word of the word nefesh. Nefesh, again, this is a singular noun, nefesh. Nefesh means breath, it means life, it means soul, it means a person. So, nefesh means breath. Next word you have the word eved. Again, a singular noun, eved. Eved means servant. Eved means servant. Next word we have ayin. Ayin means eye. It means spring, but commonly it means eye. Next word we have ear. Ear. Ear means city. Next on the nouns we have am. Am. Am means people. Next we have peri. Peri. And that word means fruit. Next we have ko. Ko. Ko means voice. It means voice or sound. Then we look at the verbs. First verb we have the word yare. Yare means he feared. He feared. He was afraid. He feared. Nasa. Nasa means he lifted up or he carried. He carried or he lifted up. Natan. Natan means he gave. Natan means he gave. These are verbs. Allah. Allah means he ascended. He arose, he ascended. Asa. Asa means he did. He made, he did. Kara. Kara means he called. Kara means he called. Ra. Ra means he saw. Ra means he saw. Shachan. Shachan. Shachan means he dwelt. Shachan means he dwelt. And this is also an interesting word because this is where we get the word Shekinah. When we say Shekinah glory, Shekinah glory. And so Shakan means he dwelt. And so Shekinah glory is God's dwelling glory. Dwelling among us, God's dwelling presence. So Shakan, the verb Shakan, means he dwelt. He dwelt. These are the words that you need to know for chapter 7. You must know them by heart. Take vocabulary to be very serious. These are verbs that you find in the quiz, and you must know them. Because the more we progress, the more we start using these words, so you must know what they mean. So again, practice, practice, practice. Later out.